What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and breaking news coming out from Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who just held a press conference, and she has unveiled the arrival time that she would like to see for the stimulus reconciliation and infrastructure bill. And this is your stimulus and infrastructure bill update. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the actual video footage so you can see it for yourself directly from Nancy Pelosi. But before we do, take a look at some of these articles coming out, you guys. Pelosi pushes the House towards votes on infrastructure and social spending bill. Democratic leaders are looking to persuade the remaining holdouts in hopes of holding votes as early as Thursday. Today, that's right. Nancy Pelosi saying, let's get this done in the House of Representatives today to have it ready to move on to the Senate tomorrow, Friday, despite what we've just heard from Senator Joe Manchin. Nancy Pelosi saying full speed ahead. In this video footage, you're going to be hearing her address Senator Joe Manchin and how she'd like to get this done right now, you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage. But first, let's look at this article. But before we do that, don't forget, we also have bipartisan support for smashing the like button. Just takes a second, really helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date on everything going on, and I know there's a lot, I'm doing about 2 or 3 videos per day, smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I'll keep you up to date. And if you got any questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. But you guys, take a look at this article. Link in the description below. I always cite my sources so you can see them for yourself. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi readied her chamber for a vote on the party's social spending and climate package as early as Thursday today, which is the result of months-long negotiations among Democrats that will evolve further if the measure passes and then goes on to the Senate. Now, Nancy Pelosi told House Democrats in a closed-door meeting on Thursday that she hoped that the House would vote on the bill later today, and then there would be a vote in the Senate tomorrow on Friday. Now, according to people familiar with the remarks, progressives, though, they have been blocking the infrastructure bill, holding out, saying until they're satisfied with the legislative language in the stimulus reconciliation bill. Now, listen to this. Jumping down in the article, the Speaker decided to move forward with the social spending bill without having consensus from Democratic senators, aka Senator Joe Manchin. Now, that decision means that the bill will ultimately return to the House after Democrats in the Senate change the bill. And that could happen after the infrastructure bill is already made law. But the Speaker had this to say. Listen to this. We figured that if they're putting things in the bill, then we could put things in the bill. And that is even if Senator Joe Manchin doesn't like it. Now we're going to be hearing directly from Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, and I'm going to be jumping right to the Q&A. Now, in the actual speech, she discusses what's in the bill, but it's in the Q&A that we get the information about Manchin and also about the bill's arrival. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Could you just project this week a little bit what you expect? Do you expect to vote tonight? And is it possible that you might just vote on the infrastructure bill, considering everybody seems to be bought in and saying it's ready for a vote?
No.
Okay, so you anticipate a vote on Build Back Better today, and what are the big hurdles you have to overcome?
I'll let you know as soon as I wish to. But we're okay, you're just worried about your own schedule. I know that. But the fact is that our members are engaged in very thoughtful deliberation with each other. As I said to you before, 90% of this bill has been agreed to, House, Senate, White House, and written. We made some changes since last week. People need to familiarize themselves with it. That was the purpose of our meeting this morning. As I said, it made me very proud and was inspired by just once again hearing the depth of knowledge and breadth of vision of our colleagues, and we'll let you know. But I think many of you know I was really very unhappy about not passing the bill last week. I really was very unhappy because we had an October 31st deadline, and I thought that was eloquent, but not enough, I guess. So now we're going to pass both bills, but in order to do so, we have to have votes for both bills, and that's where we are.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You just mentioned that you don't want members to vote on something that may not have a good prospect when it goes over to the Senate. When it comes down to paid family leave, which is now included in this bill, Senator Joe Manchin believes that it shouldn't be in this bill. Do you believe that the president can convince him otherwise? And what's your message to Senator Manchin on why it deserves to be in this bill?
Well, I don't make it a habit of talking to Senator Manchin on the TV. We're friends. I respect him. He's a good person. He's agreed to so much that is in the bill. Universal pre-K and child care, agreed to the Affordable Care Act expanded to embrace those who are left out of the Medicaid, especially our seniors who depend on that for for long-term care. He's been supportive of the child tax credit. There's so many things, home health care and the rest. Some of the stuff in green, we're not finished with that yet, but we've had some areas of agreement there. So, but the fact is, there's one difference between some of these issues, like hearing. It's not for hearing in the bill. Hearing has a very broad, universal support in our caucus. In terms of family medical leave, that has big, broad, it's no sacrifice for anybody to vote for something that might not see the light of day. And these, we hope, will see the light of day. We can afford it. It's universal. It's compromise. 4 weeks. I'd rather have it longer. I want it 6 weeks because that's when little babies can finally be able to go to child care, but nonetheless, 4 weeks. So my message to, not Joe Manchin, I mean, we talk enough, he knows what my message is, but with all the respect in the world for the point of view he represents, I disagree. I think that this is appropriate for this legislation. It fits very comfortably with child care, health care, home care, family and medical leave, and it has the full support of our caucus. There are other issues that, for example, registry, which may or may not, people will be willing to vote for it if there's a real prospect for success in the Senate. And we'll have to see what that is. So we have reserved the right to make distinctions among them.
And just to respond to some moderates who have said maybe they need more time to review this legislation.
Well, no, this has been up for, first of all, this is the bill. Basically, we had $3.5 trillion. And then we had to cut it in half, so that was drastic. And that's what was posted last week. Now we asked for public comment. And we had public comment, you act upon the comment, and that is what this would ordinarily be a situation more on the subject you ever want to know and reject it as soon as these bills are passed because it will not be useful in your life for the future. On reconciliation, you really can't do an expansive manager's amendment. Normally, regular order, we put the bill out last week, there are changes, manager's amendment, pass it on. Reconciliation, you have to have it embraced in the totality of another amendment, but it's really that it contains it all so that it adds up, because that's what reconciliation is about. And so when people are saying, well, this is a whole new bill, no, it isn't. But if you imagined it as a manager's amendment, it might be easier to grasp because you're just seeing the differences. And that's what members presented today. So again, no manager's amendment was reconciliation that is substantive. Therefore, you have to cloak it or couch it in a similar, this is called amendment, last week was called an amendment as well. An amendment in the nature of a substitute. Is that going to serve you well in your life? Yes, sir?
Your leadership took a whip count. The deadline was about a half hour ago.
I'm sorry?
Your leadership took a whip count of the members on the Build Back Better Act. The deadline for that was about a half hour ago. Are there Democrats still saying that they're not going to vote for this? Do you have the votes to pass this by the end of the week?
Well, you were my priority. I came right from the caucus to this meeting, so I'm not familiar with what that is. But again, we have questions that members have, whether it's about, is it really paid for? That was one of the questions. Yesterday, we had a session where I listened to them, and they want to know, is it really paid for and how? We had this morning, Richie Neal and Brian Deese from the White House talk about how it was, and with the idea, that was early. That at 10 o'clock, the Joint Tax Committee would be released. Have you seen it? You've seen it. Okay, so that was one piece. The other piece was about inflation, and we had the experts' opinions, and in fact, very recent today from Moody's that if the bill was since it is paid for, it would not increase inflation, and in fact, it would add to our economy because of childcare, enabling many more women to fully participate in it. So I haven't seen. I don't know. I was going to say, did you see the whip count? Because I'll tell you something about Mr. Clyburn. He keeps it close to the vest. Even as speaker, I say that. Mr. Clyburn, how are we doing? We're getting good responses. There's no bad answer. You know, it is what it is. You know, there's a certain objectivity to it. It is what it is. Because whatever it is, this is the greatest, monumental, historic piece of legislation that any of us will ever be a part of it. And I say that with great proprietary ownership of the Affordable Care Act, which was magnificent and is. But this contains that and so much, strengthening that and so much more. So if this isn't in or that isn't that, because it's reconciliation, we can save some of that for another day when it's regular order. But most of what is in there will survive, and it will be great. So help the American people. It will lower the cost of raising children in our country. Think of that. The overarching part of it. It's about the children. It's about their parents. If you're talking climate, you're talking jobs and children. If you're talking the health piece of it, you're talking jobs, and you're talking children and their families. If you're talking care can't wait, which is the third bucket, you're talking children and their families and jobs, and how we respect people who do those jobs, how we of home care, and how we enable women and dads, moms, to participate in the workforce in a more meaningful way. I hope you have a very nice day. We'll keep you informed. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, we're going to be seeing if this is going to be taking place today in the House of Representatives. And if it is, I will be sure to let you know here on the channel. If things do not take place, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel. Whatever unfolds, I will keep you up to date. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash the like button. Helps out with the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Leave your comments, share this out, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, hope this reaches you well. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is